One of these big tree branches fall down on it, it's probably not going to survive anyways. Good morning everyone, my name is Corey and welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you've already watched part one of this video where we put up the two walls and built the floor base and put the floor in. Today we're actually going to put up the other two walls, hopefully get some rafters up, and then on the third one we'll probably go ahead and get the siding on and put the roofing on and finish up the outside, at least get it dried in. Before we get to all that, I need to go ahead and do something that I should have did before we started this whole project. So two things I can honestly recommend. One, do that before you even start this project. And two, if you're on the fence about getting a tractor, get one. You'll find stuff to do with it. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is build this back wall here. We got a door. Went up and picked up a door from Home Depot the other day. Got it on clearance, steal of a deal. At least I thought. I got $149 for a 36-inch pre-hung door. And it's 6-panel steel, was on clearance, and plus I got a 10% military discount, so it ended up being 135 bucks. I thought that was a great deal. So if my measurements are correct, I should be 89 inches on this wall from side to side. We're going to go ahead and get all these studs cut, the top and bottom plates, and then go ahead and get those all put together, and then when we get it standing up, we'll get back to you. So somehow I managed to not push record on putting up the wall and that. So we're going to take you on from here. Basically we've got the wall up, we've got the rough opening for the door put in the wall, and then all the studs are screwed in. Now we got to even up these walls here and then make sure they're level and then get them screwed in. I'm going to go ahead and pull them together and hopefully they're level, and then make sure they're level with an actual level. Pretty much dead on. Awesome. We'll go ahead and tighten that up. And then move on to the next step. right, so we got that wall finished up yesterday. I had to stop for the day. It was getting late, and unfortunately things weren't going just as I planned, and I was getting frustrated. So as I've gotten older, I've learned if I just quit and move on and then come back to it, I'll probably get it right the next time. So let me show you what we got here and why I was so frustrated. So you remember I told you yesterday I got that door on clearance and got a really good deal on it? This is why. We got 3 more inches. Stupid me, I just forgot to measure or forgot to consider the width of the door. So basically it's going to be a pretty easy fix. We're just going to add 3 inches to this wall and we should be fine. But unfortunately, just more work I got to do. We'll just shorten the inside of it by 3 inches and we'll be okay. So now our last task is going to be to put this last wall up, get it all squared up and level and make sure everything's all square on it. And then we're going to put the top plates on, which I probably won't do until after I put the windows in. I know I probably shouldn't put the windows in because they might get broke if I hit them with something. But unfortunately they're just sitting around in my garage and they might get broke there too. So I'm going to take a chance and go ahead and put the windows in, do the rough opening for them and put them in, and then hope and pray that they actually don't get broke sometime. Now this wall is going to be a little bit tricky for me because I don't have a flat surface to work on that's large enough. Now this isn't large enough here. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all my boards cut to length. I'm going to take them all up to the garage where I got a nice flat large cement floor, get them all put together, and then put the wall on the pallet forks and bring it back here and just set it in place with the tractor. All right, we got all the walls up, so now we're going to go ahead and put in the windows. Normally I wouldn't do this, but they're just being stored in my garage and they're getting moved around quite a bit, so I don't want to take a chance of breaking them. I know I do have a chance to break them out here, but at least I'll be conscious of it and I'll be a little more careful around them, so that way hopefully they won't get broken. Now as you can see, I've got these lines marked out here, so I'm going to cut this center stud, and then basically we're going to put a board in between here and here, probably 2, give it some strength, and then we'll put 2 on the top as well. Alright, so we obviously got that window in. I decided not to do the double top and double bottom plates. After some consideration, I just decided it wasn't worth it. It is just a deer blind after all, as I've mentioned before. I'm going to go ahead and put the other window in on the other side. I'll do that off camera because it's pretty much the same thing. I know you're not supposed to put them directly across from each other on a deer blind. However, I want to make this look aesthetically pleasing as well as functional as for a deer blind as well. And we're probably either going to tent these windows or we'll put shades up, so that'll alleviate that. I can't shoot either direction on the side because of neighbors and just for hunter safety reasons. So we won't really worry about that. I'll put blinds up or something to take care of that problem, and we're really going to be just shooting out in the front anyways. So let me get this other window in, and after that I'm probably going to go ahead and screw down the double top plate. I've already got the boards cut up there. I just need to get them screwed down and tie all these walls together real well. So we got the other side window on, we got the double top plate all connected. Now it's time to go ahead and put in the front windows. We're going to put 2 windows in the front here, one on the left, one on the right. Somehow I kind of screwed up, and you know, as I did them 16 inches on center, I didn't put a stud in the very center of the structure here. So kind of got an offset stud, and I'm going to try doing this and crossing my fingers that it turns out right. Well, we got the front windows in. They are symmetrical. That's probably not important to most people, and probably not effective for the deer blind itself. But that's the way I like to look at things. I like when things are symmetrical. It's my OCD kicking in. So we ended up going 19 3/4 inches from each side to the edge of the window. Got them in. Now, in all reality, I probably should put some jack studs in here. And probably should have double plated these, but I didn't. I don't think it's going to be necessary. Again, there's not going to be much snow load here. The biggest thing is going to be a possible tree branch, and if one of these big tree branches fall down on it, it's probably not going to survive anyways. We'll go ahead and get the rest of these windows screwed in, and then next we're going to have to start working on the roof. And yes, I know, way too much screw for these little windows. I just don't feel like going up front and grabbing the correct ones. So before I wrap it up for the night, I'm going to go ahead and get my ridge board set, so that way tomorrow I can get all my common rafters done. This part is the part that I know nothing about, and I'm sure I'm going to struggle real hard with it. But, you know, if you don't try it, you won't learn. If you don't make mistakes, you won't learn. So we're going to do what we can and do the best job we can and hope for the best. So if you can see this up here, I've already marked the center point of my building here, which is 48 inches, obviously, since we have an 8-foot building. And then I'm going to do a 412 pitch on this roof. That means to the bottom of my ridge board should be 16 inches, because we've got 4 feet this way from outer wall to the center point, and then our rise is going to be 4 inches per foot. So I've made a board and put some lines on it and centered the lines on it, so that way we can put our ridge board right in between these 2 lines. We'll screw it in right here. It's already got a hole in it from the pallet wood. And then I've marked the line down here 19 and a half inches. So that way I can line this up with my top plate, and then that should be exactly 16 inches to the bottom of the ridge board. I'm hoping this all works. I don't know. We'll find out. So as you can see here, we got that line there that I put on there, and then the center line, and then the line obviously the center of the shed. Got those all lined up, and then we put a little cap there so we can set our ridge beam on it, and then that way it'll sit flush here, and to the top of this is 3.5 inches, so it should set perfectly. The bottom of it should be 16 inches, which I have already measured, and it is. So I'm going to go ahead and get the other one done, and then we're going to set our ridge beam up here. Well, good morning. So last night I decided to wrap it up after that ridge beam got put up. And this morning I kind of been playing around with different rafter options, since I know I'm not real great at cutting bird's mouths and getting them accurate, I decided to go with an exposed rafter tail. So that way I don't have to cut the bird's mouths. And got a little pattern together this morning. I'm gonna go ahead and show you that, and then we'll get the rest of the rafters cut up and start getting them hung. So this is what we ended up with as our pattern. End of it obviously has got a 412 pitch, and then the tail's got a 412 pitch, and then as you can see here, as I started to do the bird's mouth here, I had to mark it quite a few times. Like I said, I am not great at it. But we're just going to go ahead and cut the whole bird's mouth off, and then leave a 3.5 inch space here, and then we'll use a 2x4 as our basically as our soffit. Now up here you can probably see we've got all the rafters actually marked on the ridge beam, and then over here we've got them marked on each area of the wall there, so that way we can get them nice and straight. And then we'll get all these on, and then after that we're going to get the roof sheathing on. Alright, so we got all the rafters in, all the framing's done for this side. And basically we've left these exposed rafter tails. And what originally I was going to do is take my T111 and go from the double top plate down. But since I decided to do this style rafter, I'm actually going to take it from the first top plate and go down. I've got room down at the bottom for the T111. It'll still fit a full 8-foot sheet. And basically that gives me room to put a 2x4 as basically like a soffit, kind of like I was telling you earlier. And then I can put my faceboard along here, and it'll come out just perfect. We'll put our T111 from here down. The rain will come off the roof. Should be good to go. Now we also put some bracing on the inside for the ridge and also the outer rafters. And then we put some racking boards on, and I'll show you that here in a second. So as you can see here, we've got a support brace underneath the end of the ridge beam, and then we've also put two outer rafter supports in the center there, and they will also work as nailers. And then you can see probably right there, we've got that cross brace, and basically that's for racking, and you won't get that side to side motion. That'll stop all that from happening as well. Last board and we're done for the day. Alright, so the framing is all completed now, and I think that's going to wrap part 2 up of this video series. We'll do part 3. We're going to have to put siding on. Like I said, we're going to put T111 siding on. We'll do the roofing, which I've got 7/16 OSB, and then I haven't decided on the actual roofing and whether I'm going metal or polypropylene. Just not decided yet, so I'll decide that in the meantime. But we'll get that all done, and then I think next year we're going to do the inside. I'm not going to do that this year. I'm just running out of time. Winter's coming. And I got a couple other things I got to get handled around here before winter. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them down below. Have a great day, and God bless.